Right, we're getting some breaking news of a fire in the Joburg CBD where a fire has broken out underground. It's also affected electricity supply services in that area. Let's speak to our reporter, Linda Mnisi, who's there for us. Linda, give us an idea of what is going on there now.
All right, so Megillah, as you rightfully point out, the issue around the fire breaking out, we understand that this happened earlier this morning, and firefighters have been on scene trying to find the source of where it broke out. Quite difficult because it is, of course, an underground fire. If you look behind me, you see the firefighters still, trying to battle that blaze. We understand that, it may have come from as far as, Carlton Center or the area around that, leading to this place. A couple of minutes ago, we saw another firefighter being taken out of that particular, hole that they've since been attending to. You can see there the smoke that is coming out from a statement that was issued earlier on. It seemed authorities were able to also assess the dangers around this fire and what it could possibly do to, the surrounding shops as well as the buildings in this particular area. You also mentioned we're in Joburg CBD, which is really the central business district here in Johannesburg. This is the street, Megillah, that leads to the Johannesburg Magistrates Court. I'm going to bring in now Robert Mulauze from the EMS. Robert, thank you so much for your time. I want us to first talk about the source of this fire. Where did it start? We understand it started around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it was reported around 8 this morning in the area of around Gandhi Square area. I think the cables now, they are running, it's almost about between almost 600 to 700 meters away, because right now we are in Anderson and Ntemimpilis. So I think my colleague Mangena will be able to tell you more about the technicalities about the cables. But in terms of the firefighting itself, it's a very difficult operation because it's a confined space. You have to have enough breathing apparatus to survive the area. So our thermal imaging cameras is assisting us to detect the heat, to direct us as to which direction to take to be able to extinguish the fire. Yeah, so far we can reassure our residents that we will be able to deal with the fire, and then from there we'll be able to hand over the incident to our colleagues from City Power to take it further.
From what I'm hearing, you haven't been able to exactly detect where the fire is or reach where the fire is.
Yeah, right now we are almost in the source of the fire, but as and when we use our thermal detecting device, it's actually showing us that we still need to move, away from that direction. We might still have the fire continuing from the area where we are now, but I think that one will be able to detect it and then see how do we move forward. But so far, the fire is under control. The extinguishing of the fire is in progress. So of course we don't have any injuries which have been reported as and when we continue to extinguish the fire.
Speaking of injuries, talk to us about the safety of going underground. Is it safe for your members to go inside at this moment?
Yeah, it's not safe, but you understand, our line of work is dangerous. On a day-to-day basis, we respond to, dangerous and difficult situations. We have got, some of the highly skillful firefighters who are trained to deal with this kind of situations. We have got the required equipment to be able to detect, the fire, and also to be able to assist us for breathing while we are underground. So we are handling the situation very well. We should be able to extinguish the fire very soon.
Talk to us about the safety then of the people that occupy these buildings that we see around us now. Is it still safe for them to be in these buildings?
Yeah, I think in terms of the people who are in the city center visibility, they are still safe, because remember, the cables are actually running in an area where it's confined, and we are, for instance, ourselves, we are able to extinguish the fire. So I think at this stage there is no danger for the people who are doing their day-to-day business. And of course, if you talk about power supply, my colleague here, he will be able to assist you regarding that. I'm a firefighter, so I can only talk about the firefighting part of it. My man here is highly skilled about technicalities of power supply, so he'll be able to assist you regarding.
Let's bring him in. Isaac Mangena, spokesperson of City Power. Isaac, thank you so much for your time. I want you to talk to us about what you understand to have started this fire.
Currently, it's difficult for us to basically say what could have caused the fire. In the wires game, anything could be possible. It could be a cable fault, electrical fault, or maybe even vandalism. We are not ruling anything out, but it's difficult for us, even our technicians, our investigators, to be able to get underground, because currently the scene, as you can see, is still belonging to EMS. So we are waiting for them to basically give us an all clear sign that everything is safe for us to can move underground. You can imagine that the air quality itself, it won't be safe for us as people from City Power, and we don't have same equipment that EMS is having for us to be able to go under to see what the cause of the fire is. So we'll wait for EMS to give us to hand over the scene to us, which probably could be tomorrow morning, before we can determine or start with the investigation as to what caused the fire, but also the extent of the damage itself. We're talking about 10 kilometers of stretch of cable underground. We've narrowed it down to 3 kilometers between Carlton Center and Fortsburg. So that's where we're actually looking to see exactly what could have caused that, and the cost, of course, of repairing the electricity infrastructure that could have been damaged.
Talk to us about these cables. We understand that they're supplying mainly the city of or the CBD at large, and also Selby. Talk to us about how this could have happened.
The cables that we're talking about, they are, like I said, it's a 10 kilometers stretch of cables. Yeah. They supply most of the suburbs and the industrial areas towards the east of the CBD. I'm talking about Boysens also in that mix, and also Selby, but also towards Maboning as well, and Street. We are supplying electricity using the very same thing, and even Fortsburg and Mayfair. Some of the areas there are also still off, and Wema Pen is also off because of this outage. So we have communicated to the people, to the customers that are affected by this, especially business customers, because it means employees may not, they need to know, to make plans for the employees whether to come to work tomorrow morning or not to come to work tomorrow morning. But we're, like I said, we haven't even touched the source of the fire and everything to determine even when electricity could be restored. So we will come back tomorrow morning as City Power. We'll have team also staying here with the colleagues from EMS, just in case they give us an all clear, so that we can start with mop-up operations and also try and see, assess the cost and everything that is involved at this stage.
While they're still investigating or waiting to investigate the cause of the fire, obviously you're speaking about cables, and we know how sought after they are in our areas. Talk to us about the maintenance of these cables. Do you know when last they were maintained?
I don't have the details of when last they were maintained, but we normally do our maintenance regularly. We've got time frames. It's like a car. Every time there is a certain mileage that it can go before we actually do this maintenance, including of the cables themselves. And most of the infrastructure is fairly new. Remember, this is like the second time in about 4 years that we've got this similar fire. So last time we had fires, it was in 2017, and we replaced, we overhauled the whole infrastructure underground so that we can put the new infrastructure. So we did that. Fortunately enough, we are not, the cables that we are using here are not the oil-filled cables. Oil-filled cables would have caused serious damage, obviously, but also they take long to repair. So we are lucky that we are using just normal cables that are running under. Yes, we are also obviously looking at the issue of vandalism and cable theft, as you rightfully pointed out. That is part of the investigation, whether there was something similar or not. But currently, during this downtime, when it's dark, when there are no lights, we don't expect anyone to go under. It's dangerous anyway. People cannot breathe when you're underground there. There's no oxygen and so forth. But also, part of what the EMS is going to do is basically to ensure that when they hand over, we check the air quality before we send our teams underground. We also check the structural integrity, because we don't know how much damage could have caused to the bridges underground before we can actually move people in. We don't want a situation where we may get into a situation where our teams or the surface caves in and even kills people. So we will make sure that our priority is the safety of our employees.
So of course, depending on the level of damage, then you will tell us in terms of when you are likely to restore power?
Yes, we'll definitely do that. And also, some of our team members from EISD dealing with the issues of environment will also come on site to ensure that we deal with those aspects. We don't rule out basically evacuating some of the businesses here. You can see some of them actually, we ask them to close because of the safety concerns. But we will assess and monitor to see if tomorrow some of them can actually open or not.
All right, thank you very much, Isaac Mangena, the spokesperson of City Power, talking to us, Tembegile, about those cables that are said to have tripped in the underground tunnels. As you can see behind me, the work still continues. Isaac saying that they cannot rule out anything at this particular moment.